Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Monday morning trading room. Hang on here a second while I get the screen share up and running. Well, I awoke to some snow here in the Pacific Northwest this morning, which is not too terribly unusual for this part of the world. We don't get a lot of snow here on the West Coast, usually just enough to keep us humble, but I moved here to get away from snow. Growing up on the prairies, saw a lot of snow in the wintertime. Okay, here we go with the NASDAQ. Let's take a look here what's been going on, where the market left off on Friday. Friday's trading closing here around the 47.43. Very active through the overnight session. So the market making a little bit of a rally here, opening around the 47.60 mark. We have a rather substantial opening gap below the market here. A good 30 ticks. We're going to wait for our first in-sync signal here on the Eagle. However, we are producing a rule of three. Problem with this particular rule of three signal is I'm not entirely sure we've seen a test of the extreme yet. And it is only a minute or so into the session, so I'm going to try not to get too crazy with the market here. Yeah, Tony says, that's it for golf. Well, hopefully it won't last for more than a couple of days. I'm usually a bit more of a fair weather golfer anyway. But I have had friends who have golfed Boxing Day and New Year's Day. So with a little bit of luck, the weather will clear up some. Okay, we're working a possible trend change signal here on the Hawk as well, but you can see we've got lots of yellow bar clusters. So here's our first micro-macro cross. Oh, it is going to give us a little bit of follow through to the short side. All right, for you Raptor traders, we've got ourselves an early cloud crossover signal here. I'm going to hold off and hopefully we'll get one more move into the cloud. Maybe not. Soybeans and crude oil, which are the other two markets I'm following, also up quite a bit from where they left off last week. And look at this. Shoot, market just screaming lower. Going to get into that gap. So last Friday did turn out to be a little bit of a trading range kind of day. I wonder if we're going to see more of that this week. Alright, well, let's just give them a moment here. This is a macro pullback signal here on the Hawk. If you're going to take this one, though, the only real structure is up here above the high of the morning. Same thing here now with the Raptor trade. This is a cloud crossover. I'm going to short it. What time is it? Okay, good. It's not quarter to the hour. I should have checked that before. Okay, I'm going to enable this, but I'm going to keep my stop above the high of the morning. Okay, this is one of these, I refer to them as dipping your toe in the water kind of trades. So, what time is it? 6:36. Okay, so we've hit our stop, and I'm going to get the rest of the trade to break even. So we've taken profit on one position, and with a little bit of luck, we can ride out this swing. Don't get so close. No, get away from there. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to get deeper into that gap, and with a little bit of luck, if we manage to ride out this swing, we may see the market retest Friday's low. That would be a fantastic move and a fantastic start to the day. Not quite, or not yet anyway. All right, so once again, for you Raptor traders, this is a cloud crossover. So the clouds go from bullish to bearish. The market retreats into the cloud, comes out with a signal. You could have interpreted this, oh, was it that one? Yeah, I guess so, as a cloud crossover also. It's not as pretty as this one, however. This is more textbook. We got the quick move lower. And it looks as though we were a little unfortunate trying to ride out the rest of that. Lots of action here this morning, though. Nice start to the day. Things slowing a little bit now. And let's see, well, about another 5 minutes. We're going to be at quarter to the hour, and that's a time of the day that we tend to see a little bit of a fake signal from time to time. see if that holds true today as well. So here we are around the 4750 area. This was a very popular number last week as well during Friday's session. And you can see we're making a little bit of a sideways range here. Well, the Raptor coming back again now with a soft edge buy signal after we've retested the low. But we're paying off to the short side, so I'm going to try to be a little bit more choosy here. You can see the Eagle and the Raptor both coming into the hard edge of the band. The Hawk, however, and the Falcon already getting a little bit more bullish. So this is what we were talking about the other day, where sometimes you can get conflicting signals. And that's not unusual because each of these tools are independent of the other. Well, we've got some shorting opportunities here as well. Probably this Hawk. What time is it? No, I'm not going to go for it. It's quarter to the hour. The bottom may well fall out of this market. I was going to suggest shorting the failure of the red bar buy signal if the market breaks down below these lows. But I got tagged a couple times now on this 645 signal, 945 in the east. So I think I'm just going to watch this one. Okay, the buyer's stepping in. So prices fell down, hit the primary resistance line, gave us a little bit of a bounce. So this is a lot of this buying is coming from the overnight. Traders looking at the market and saying, hey, well, if it was good enough to buy in the overnight session, why is it not good enough to buy it again? Okay, so here come the sellers now. Oh, or not. It's a monster first micro macro cross here in the hawk. It's not that the signal isn't valid, it is a valid signal. The problem is covering this trade. You're pretty much looking at least down to there. I'm going to wait for a slightly better setup, maybe a macro pullback or even a 4-arrow consolidation. Buyers trying to finish what they started here. The Raptor now giving us a cloud crossover the other direction, so we may get a possible signal there. But again, a little bit of a jumbled mess. Here's the Eagle producing a green bar sell. And as I mentioned, it's not so much choosing the direction as choosing where to cover this trade. That's the challenge right now. All right, well, here we go on the Falcon. Take it above the high, risk it down there. Oh, no, I can't. No, darn it, won't let me. Same signal here on the Raptor now. And we are getting a second push opportunity. All right, maybe. So this, once again, the cloud crossover signal now to the upside. And the buyers trying really, really hard to get this trade to work for them. I just hope that stop is far enough away. Just making a couple notes here in my journal. sneaking up on the high of the morning. I don't know if you noticed there, the Geiger counter was pulled hard over to the buy side. Oh, now they're getting a little sticky on the short side. There we go. We've hit our break-even trigger. Come on, just give me a couple of ticks. All right, I will take a chance and bring the trade up to break even, and hopefully we'll get a little bit of a run out on this. We've had comparable signals on the other tools, by the way. Here's that first micro-macro cross signal, which did give us a little bit of a dip. It's a little bit more inviting than when it first printed up here. We have a trend change signal here on the Falcon that we were looking at. And actually no real signal in the Eagle just yet. Believe it or not, the best place for this stop is still down here. That is the best place. Well, actually, the low of the morning is the best place. I couldn't quite afford that, so I'm going to try to sneak it a little bit, and with a little bit of luck, we'll get some follow through here. Ah, nicely done, Keith. Keith says, I took that cloud crossover trade earlier. This one right here. He says, I took it for 2 contracts. I'm up 60 ticks. Way to go, Keith. He says, you're right about the uncomfortable feeling is what you're looking for in a good trade. Yes, that is so true. If you're feeling really good about the trade, that's usually the time the market's going to turn around and give you a little bit of a smack. I am going to need a little bit of luck to ride out this swing, though. The buyers are definitely in control. Sellers tried to force the market lower. Buyers put a stop to that and have come back with a vengeance. All right, we got a little bit of breathing room now. There we go. Now where's the tool I want? Ooh, we're up 200 bucks. All right, I better take steps to protect more of that. Oops. Too many buttons. I'm pushing the wrong buttons. So let's see, this rally started actually at quarter to the hour, so we've been rallying for a good 10 minutes. Some of these bars getting a little bit wider. Looks like we may have some sellers stepping in. Parabolics are a great stop strategy for trying to maximize your open profit. Parabolics have a tendency to give the market a little bit more room once that trend is starting, and then as the trend starts to get a little bit tired, the parabolic tends to come in rather quickly. The most aggressive stop strategy we have is the bar high low. And you can, by default, it's set back at 5 ticks, which is not that aggressive, but of course you can dial it down. You can get within a tick, or actually even right below the current price, it looks like, or pardon me, within a bar, and only 1 tick off. But this is a very nice rally out of the open. Great move lower to start, and now a equally, well, stronger move to the upside. So we can tell from the dynamic echo volume bars, there's a lot more trading going on. Look at these last 3 bars. A lot wider than the bars going into it. Come on, get up there. Just give me one more push. Crude oil still very sideways this morning. Here's crude oil on the hawk, and you can see those yellow bars printing more or less the same price level. Come on, get away from there. Ah, oh well, that was a good trade all the same. So where did I get stopped? 73.75. Nice. Okay, well, let's put that on the shelf. We're now at the top of the hour. And it looks as though we might be seeing a short-term top in the market. Steve's asking, you mentioned that 9:45 Eastern time being a key time. Why is that? Just experience, Steve. I thought I was over that phenomenon. It seemed like for a while there that about 15 minutes into the session, the market would produce a false signal. It would look good, you would take it, and the market would go the other way. For instance, here on the Eagle, I think the Eagle actually produced a bad signal. Yeah, there it is right there. Well, it's not a bad signal in that it was against our ATR. It wasn't the signal we were looking to take anyhow, but just as a for instance, here's that signal that produced at quarter to the hour. So the market opens here, falls off sharply, makes a little bit of a pullback, produces a signal about 15 minutes into the session, makes you think it's going to go lower, and then nope, goes the other way. And this was starting to happen across the board. It was happening on all the tools, really. So I just made it a habit of avoiding that signal that printed about 15 minutes into the session. Now, that whole phenomenon kind of went away for about 5-6 months. I was looking at the signals printing at quarter to the hour, and they were all giving very good follow-through. In fact, if I had the nerve here on the hawk, this is also printing around the same time at quarter to the hour. It's a red bar buy signal, which isn't the highest probability signal, but the setup itself is not that bad. And by that I mean we're making a higher swing low. At the worst, it looks like this market may be channeling. So it may hold up on the highs, it may hold up on these highs, but you can see if we're going to scalp in and out, we can easily reach our profit objective before we even hit the first resistance area. Of course, that was where the uptrend really started to get some traction, and the market hasn't looked back yet. But I've noticed the last couple of weeks that this whole phenomenon of the market tanking around quarter to the hour is kind of creeping back into the market. Not tanking, but giving you a false signal. Maybe it's just something that happens during the winter months. All right, so the market moving a good 10 points higher from where I got stopped out, but that's okay. I'm all right with that. Okay, Tony's asking here, he says, Buenos dias, Eric. Well, buenos dias, Tony. Can we discuss the first in-sync signal on the Eagle on the NASDAQ? At 98.32, there was a sell signal with a red ATR. Price red signal, red filter, but the cloud had not yet crossed. I did not take the trade. Drat. Did I overanalyze? So I think Tony's talking about this signal right here. Now, this is our rule of three signal. But the rule of three signal is a counter trend signal. So in order to have a counter trend signal, you need two things. First, you have to have a trend. Then you have to have what we call a test of the extreme. In this case, the extreme is the high. If you have a test of the extreme and a failure, then you have a pretty good idea the market's going to move the other way. The problem, I saw this also, Tony, the problem I had with this was, did we have a test of the extreme yet? I was thinking, well, maybe this is the test of the extreme. A little itty-bitty retest here. The market comes down, tries to retest it again unsuccessfully. All these little pullbacks did not make me feel really good about shorting it. But you're right. You know, the market fell off sharply. Then it came back with another signal right here. Oh, maybe this is the one you're talking about. Sorry, because you did say everything was in sync. Yes, you're overanalyzing. Short answer. Yes, you're overanalyzing. This was a proper trend change signal. The trend was already underway. This is the first in-sync signal, and oh, sorry, I thought it went a little bit lower than that. No. Here's an in-sync signal that failed. I would not have considered this signal in sync. I would have considered that to be the first in sync signal. So it's a fairly reliable setup, but you can see it does not work all the time. And I think the reason this one ended up failing is, again, we didn't have the test of the extreme. And then the market comes up and tries to give us that retest, and of course, little hesitation here, but the market continuing higher. Yeah, so Tony says the signal at 8:32, which would be 6:32 my time, so it was this one here. So the bar flips over, now your ATR, everything is in sync. This effectively becomes your signal bar. Yeah, I saw it too, Tony. I didn't trust it because of the lack of the test of the extreme. I thought, well, what if the market bounces? Now, let me see. If I could cover above the high, yeah. If I could cover above the high, I would say go for it. Because if we're going to test the extreme, we should not trade above the high. But try not to beat yourself up for missing a signal. Don't beat yourself up even if you miss this signal here or this long move here. You're going to miss trades. Your objective is not to take every single trade. Your objective is not even to get those great big moving trades, although those are fun when they happen and you happen to be on the right side. Your objective here is to make money. And if that means taking profit on target all the time, then so be it. I think I shared a story with you last week. A friend of mine was talking to a professional trader. He trades a fund, and once he hits his profit target, he takes his profit. He says, I could care less how much further the market goes without me. I've made my profit. That's the sole objective here, folks. It's not to catch those big trends. You'll catch your share. Your objective is to make money, and maybe even more importantly, not to lose money. All right, excuse me for just a moment. I think we're going to let the market settle in here a little bit. Looks like we're going to get a little bit of a pullback going on. The market is extremely bullish at the moment, however. So if you're thinking about, possibly doing a Falcon trend change signal here, if it develops that way, don't go crazy. Maybe even tighten up your profit objective. I'm just going to go grab a coffee and I will be right back. I don't want to end up doing anything silly. Okay, back in a moment. Okay, so what did I miss? Not much. It looks as though we might see a little bit of a bearish pullback. This is going to be like a little itty bitty double top here. It's looking that way pretty much across the board here on the hawk. This would be a test of the extreme. We'll see whether it folds over on itself. Ooh, you Raptor traders, you've got a double pullback signal here. I've already banked a couple good trades. I don't know if I have the nerve to hop in one more time. The double pullback occurs when the market pulls back into the cloud twice. Comes up, produces a signal. Your second signal tends to be your high probability signal. I don't think there's much question the market is in an uptrend today, but where is going to be the next best buying opportunity? I'm thinking something resembling a hard edge bounce here on the Eagle and or the Raptor. Both should see the market retrace back here to around the 47, 69, 70 area. We have a support line or a resistance line which should act as support around 47.64. So here's that trend change signal on the Falcon and a soft edge sell on the Raptor. Soft edge sell is the counter trend signal. So as with the Eagle counter trend signal, first you need to have a trend, then you need to have a test to the extreme. So it looks like we're going to see at least a little bit of a short-term move lower here. Now the hawk showing up with the first micro-macro cross also. And the only bird that is still full on bullish is the Eagle. But as I said, we've seen a very strong uptrend. I don't know if I would be all that crazy about shorting or getting overly aggressive on a short. Well, they're stuck. They want to go up, but nobody's convinced that it's time to buy yet. All right, so we're seeing prices drift a little bit lower here, making their way toward the hard edge. You can see our first micro macro cross signal lower, even though it did take its time and it was counter trend, didn't have too much difficulty getting to its profit objective. We had a trend change signal here on the Falcon. This coincides, by the way, with the soft edge sell on the Raptor. And we're just above our profit objective there. Don't know if that was enough to find the break-even trigger or not. As I said, when the market seems to be paying off in one direction, I try not to get too crazy with counter-trend style trades. Well, we're just kind of on hold here for a moment, folks. Can't make the market do anything. Well, we are getting something resembling a hard edge bounce here in the Eagle. It's a little, well, I don't know if it's early or not. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. We're now an hour into the session, and we've seen two rather strong moves, one lower, one higher. They're really, really congested here now. You can see big sideways trading range. Not much to talk about until we get outside of that range. All right, here come the sellers now. They're really trying a little bit harder to push the market lower. Yeah, Dan's asking, is that a hard edge buy on the Eagle? Well, I would have preferred a red bar buy. It's not really into the hard edge just yet. We could see a rally. The sideways trading range has me a little bit concerned that we're just going to bounce around within there a little bit. Of course, it's a 50-50 proposition whether the market will break out through the top end of the range or the bottom end. So we're getting another red bar buy signal, another possible trend change. Yeah, they're just not really committed. Yeah, Peter says, Eric, here in this choppy kind of situation, the trade forecaster is showing swing mode, so I'm sitting on my hands. One thing you need to remember here with the trade forecaster is this is also a predictive tool. What it does is it looks back in the history of the chart, analyzes certain parameters, and says, okay, last time the market conditions were like this is what happened. So because it's a predictive tool, it does not always mean that it will be accurate, just like the local weatherman, right? The weatherman predicts the weather the same way. They look at air speeds, cloud formations, relative humidity, barometric pressure, all kinds of things. Their Doppler radar, and they say, okay, last time these conditions were present, this is what the weather was. Well, the trade forecaster works in a similar fashion. So even though it says we are in swing mode, and normally swing mode, we see larger moves or a little bit more follow through, larger swings. Uh, this is what I would classify more as scalp mode. So it seems like perhaps the trade forecaster a little bit behind. Scalp mode showing up in about 10 minutes time, and it looks like we may have actually entered that a little bit earlier. All right, let's see here. Tom is saying, Eric, on your Raptor chart, go to the indicators and under the cloud, turn the auto scale to false, and your chart will show the trend better. Indicator, under the Raptor. Let's see, auto scale to false. Okay, good to know. Looks like mine is already set up that way. I'm not sure what the other setting does, but there we are. We're still sideways, of course. And look at our Geiger counter, very, very chewed up. The sellers take their chunk out of the market here. The buyers try to buy the market up here. No real follow through. We're producing signals both directions. Again, no follow through. It's a little bit more of a sideways market here at the moment. If we see this red bar buy fail, then there's a chance we could see the market head lower. Kind of hung up on this whole 4780 line. says on the clouds. All right, let's go check that out there. Auto scale faults. And Raptor Cloud auto scale faults. Interesting. I didn't even know that was an option. Cool. I love it when you guys give me tips. Oh, baby, it's just dried up here. There's nothing going on. Well, the hawk giving us more yellow bars. Well, I thought we'd at least get something else going on here. Okay, here's a little move to the upside now, but nothing really to take advantage of here. Tony's asking, Eric, how or where do I go to brighten the lines and text of the entry exit profit break-even lines on the screen? All right. You do that by going here to your strategies window, because this is for your trade manager. And you'll go to your trade manager. If it's already turned on, of course you need to turn it off. And then go up here to your order displays. The highest value you can set is 255. You'll see the ones that are set at 100, they're only 50% as dark. So change all your values to 255. You don't need to worry about this one here, order display length. Your previews for your stop strategies is this value right here, potential stop indicator. So you can make that one darker if you like. Dial it also up to 255. When you have the settings the way you like, it's a good idea to save your template. So just give your template a name, hit enter, so that next time you load a new chart, you can just pull down to whatever template it is you want to use. When everything's to your liking, go back here to your enabled tab, turn it back on to true, and you'll implement your new settings. All right, we saw a little breakout here to the upside. We'll see whether we get any follow through to that. After that prolonged sideways period, I'm starting to think that maybe the market is topping. You know, we saw it go screaming higher. It should be more bullish than it is. You know, we went sideways here from around, well, 7 o'clock to, well, really 3/4 of an hour. That's a long time for a bullish market not to be bullish. Yes, Dan, way to go. Dan says, is that a first micro macro cross here on the Hawk? Absolutely. Well done. I probably would not cover it right there, although it looked like it would have worked out. I probably would have tried to cover the trade at least here back to the macro line. Well done, Dan says. That's exactly what I did. Nice job. All right, well, it looks like the buyers have shown up again. We'll see whether or not they can keep pushing the market here. Not as dramatic a follow through as we might have been expecting. The hawk here given the best signal. The raptor also gave us a signal here toward the top end of the trading range, but really we got a couple double pullback signals, more double pullback signals, a couple of soft edge sells. Just kind of emphasizes how sideways the market is. All right, folks, I think we're going to button things up here. If you're going to hang out here and try to trade some more, I think we've seen the move of the day, and it's very likely we're going to see the market retrace a little bit here. It may even get back down here to these lows that it was testing earlier. Either way, I don't think I'd get too crazy to short or even too wild on the buy side now that it seems we've lost all momentum. All right, we'll do this all again tomorrow. We'll catch you then. Bye for now.